What if control in art is nothing more than an illusion we agree to believe in? A fragile story we tell ourselves while the paint has already begun to decide its own fate, while the canvas waits not as a passive surface, but as an arena, a place where intention and accident collide in a quiet violence, where the artist does not simply create, but confronts something vast and unnameable within themselves. And so the video opens not with a face, but with a sound, the low, almost imperceptible hum of a room holding its breath, a dim light stretching across a blank canvas that feels less like an object and more like a threshold. And the camera drifts slowly closer, capturing the subtle texture of the untouched surface, every fiber anticipating impact, as a hand enters the frame carrying a loaded brush, heavy with paint that trembles at the edge of release. And in that suspended moment, the question lingers again. Who is in control here? The hand, the mind, or the paint itself, before the first strike lands with a sound that is both sharp and intimate, bristles colliding against canvas in a gesture that is neither fully deliberate nor entirely chaotic, and the paint bursts outward in a visceral bloom, captured in macro detail as droplets scatter, some clinging, some falling, gravity already asserting its quiet authority, and the soundtrack deepens with each movement, the wet drag of pigment, the rhythmic tapping of brush against surface, the echo of motion reverberating through the space like a pulse, and the camera lingers on a slow-motion drip forming at the edge of a thick stroke, swelling, elongating, surrendering, falling, tracing a path that cannot be undone. And this is where gestural abstraction reveals its core, not as a style but as an event, a record of movement, of decisions made too quickly to be fully conscious, of instincts that bypass language entirely, and the voiceover emerges softly, not as an explanation but as a meditation, speaking of the canvas as an arena, a term that transforms the act of painting into something almost performative, almost confrontational, where the artist steps into a space that demands presence, that resists passivity, that invites risk, and with each new mark the tension builds, layers accumulating not as a plan but as a history, each stroke responding to the last in a dialogue that unfolds in real time. And the B-roll shifts to extreme close-ups of paint splashing from a flicked wrist, captured at high speed so that every arc and fragment becomes visible, each droplet a fleeting universe of color and motion. And the sound design isolates these moments, amplifying the splatter, the subtle hiss of liquid meeting surface, the almost percussive rhythm of creation, and the camera cuts to the artist's hand again, now moving faster, less restrained, as if something has broken open, as if control has been relinquished or perhaps revealed to have never truly existed, and the paint begins to behave unpredictably, blending, resisting, pooling in ways that defy expectation. And yet within this apparent chaos, there is a strange coherence, a sense that the work is finding itself, that the artist is not imposing order but discovering it. And the voiceover reflects on this paradox, suggesting that control in gestural abstraction is not about dominance but about participation, about entering into a collaboration with forces that cannot be fully controlled. And the visuals reinforce this idea with slow-motion footage of paint dripping down the canvas, gravity pulling it into delicate, elongated trails that intersect and diverge, creating patterns that no hand could precisely replicate. And the camera follows one drip as it merges with another, forming a thicker line that shifts direction, influenced by the slightest tilt of the surface. And the sound of a brush hitting the canvas punctuates the moment again, grounding the abstraction in physicality, reminding us that this is not just an image but an action, a sequence of gestures that exist in time as much as in space. And the lighting changes subtly, casting deeper shadows that emphasize the texture of the paint, the ridges and valleys that catch the light in uneven ways, turning the surface into a landscape. And the voiceover delves deeper into the philosophy, speaking of the arena not as a battleground but as a place of encounter, where the artist meets the limits of their own control, where intention dissolves into instinct, where the act of painting becomes a form of listening as much as doing, and the camera begins to move more dynamically, circling the canvas, capturing the work from multiple angles, revealing how the composition shifts depending on perspective, how what seemed chaotic from one view becomes almost structured from another. And the B-roll includes a sequence of paint being poured directly onto the canvas, thick streams cascading in slow motion, spreading outward, colliding with existing layers, creating new forms that ripple and expand. And the sound here is immersive, the liquid movement amplified to feel almost tactile, as if the viewer could reach out and feel the viscosity, the temperature, the weight of the paint. And the voiceover returns to the question of control, suggesting that perhaps the true act of control is knowing when to let go, when to allow the material to speak, when to accept that the most powerful moments in art often arise from what cannot be predicted or planned. And the visuals show the artist stepping back slightly, the hand pausing, hovering, as if assessing not with the mind but with something deeper, something more intuitive. And then another gesture, a sudden, decisive movement that cuts across the canvas, disrupting what had begun to settle, reintroducing tension, reminding us that the arena is never static, that it demands continuous engagement. And the camera captures the aftermath of this gesture in extreme detail, the way the new stroke interacts with the old, the edges blending in some places, resisting in others, creating a complex interplay that feels alive. And the sound design mirrors this complexity, layering the subtle noises of brush, paint, and movement into a kind of abstract music. A composition that evolves alongside the visual one, and the voiceover grows more introspective, reflecting on the idea that gestural abstraction is not about representation but about presence, about capturing the energy of a moment, the trace of a body in motion, the imprint of a decision made in an instant. And the visuals slow down again, focusing on the smallest details, a single droplet suspended at the tip of a brush before it falls, the slight tremor of a hand, the way light glints off a wet surface, emphasizing the intimacy of the process. And the camera pulls back gradually to reveal more of the canvas, now layered with marks, drips, splashes, a complex network of gestures that together form something that cannot be easily defined, something that resists simple interpretation. And the voiceover suggests that this resistance is the point, that gestural abstraction invites us to experience rather than decode, to feel rather than analyze, to accept that meaning can exist without being fully articulated. And the B-roll transitions to a sequence of the paint drying, time passing in subtle shifts, the glossy surface becoming matte, the colors deepening, the form stabilizing, and yet the sense of movement remains, embedded in the marks themselves. And the sound becomes quieter, more ambient, as if the arena is settling after the intensity of action. And the voiceover returns one last time to the opening question, asking again what control means in this context, whether it is something we possess or something we negotiate, something we assert or something we surrender to. And the camera lingers on the finished canvas, not as a conclusion but as a residue of everything that has happened, every gesture, every moment of uncertainty, every decision and non-decision. And the final shot is a slow, almost imperceptible zoom into the surface, into the layers of paint, into the traces of movement that continue to exist even in stillness. And the sound fades to the faint echo of a brush touching canvas, a reminder that the arena is never truly empty, that it waits for the next encounter, the next question, the next moment where control is tested, dissolved, and reimagined.